accused of rigging the selection process of one of the most sacrosanct processes in the country, the UPSC. Puja allegedly used a fake address, it has now come to light, to obtain a disability certificate and used a defunct company's address, even registering her Audi luxury vehicle under that defunct company's name. The reasons for it? You can only guess. Khedkar had filed a complaint also against the district collector of Pune in a latest twist, alleging that he has been harassing her. The police are searching for Puja Khedkar's parents, Manorama and Dilip. The hunt has been prompted by videos circulating on social media showing her mother making threats both to farmers and to metro workers.
It's very unfortunate. It's a competitive exam. It's like the NEET exam. Things are going haywire in the NEET exam and similar things are happening here. And why is there no firewall system completely protected? So such things should not happen. I'm appalled, shocked and disappointed. And the way stories are coming out every day, it's like a soap opera. Boss, this is a reality of this country. It's an issue of a security of a state. And that's been taken so lightly and made into a melodrama, which is so sad. Shows the casualness of the government.
सर इसके अलावा जो पूजा खेड़ेकर हैं, जो IAS ऑफिसर हैं, कहीं ना कहीं उनका प्रोविजन
What kind of evidences do you have right now, and how can you claim like this?
See, when I investigated at my personal level, he has a land bank which has been disclosed in his affidavit, but in his entire tenure of service, he was suspended for 2 times, and if we consider his total salary of receiving, maybe it's not more than 4 crore, but his property and his wife property is more than 40-50 crore. That it's very surprising how he get the business, how he get the property.
Try to understand. 40 crores has already been published, like it is in public domain right now.
Yeah.
So what do you have apart from that? Like how many companies he has established and what kind of connections? Will you please elaborate, because I know you have documents. Will you please show us?
Yeah, I have documents that I obtained from official website of government, that is a IGR and all those things. This is the index of my all documents. Here.
How many companies are there?
He has, I think, 8 companies. Puja Automobiles, Puja Tire, Diligence Sugar Auto, Thermoverita Engineering, SKDL Auto Private Limited, Diligence Recycler, Diligence Infrastructure, like these companies he have.
Almost 8 companies are there.
Yeah.
So Thermoveda is a company on which the Audi...
Yeah, I think that Audi was
registered on the same one.
Puja Automobiles or Thermoverita. Yeah, Thermoverita and Puja Automobiles and Puja Tires are the companies in which name these cars was registered.
Viewer, there's a famous line in the famous Ram Gopal Verma film Satya, where Manoj Bajpayee's iconic character Bhiku Matre is being advised by his lieutenant and asked to calm down because, as he says, एक जाएगा तो सब जाएगा. That line appears to be echoing through India's power corridors right now as we at India Today keep the spotlight on the Puja Khedkar case. Incremental, careful actions forced singularly by media pressure, mostly from here at India Today. Puja Khedkar's allegedly fraudulent entry into the IAS has fallen apart. After relentless coverage by us, she's received marching orders from her current post in Maharashtra that could potentially end with her being dismissed from service. But isn't it odd, viewer, that Puja Khedkar would have gotten away completely scot-free if it wasn't for her own silly VIP arrogance? If she hadn't behaved badly, nobody would have known about her dubious entry into the IAS. As veteran IPS officer Yashovardhan Azad, who has been on this show many times, has said, how is it that Puja Khedkar was never once issued a show cause notice? How is it that nobody in the UPSC, the sacrosanct UPSC, now fully tainted by the Puja affair, didn't order any kind of action? How is it that the Maharashtra government bureaucracy never thought to look into the repeated reminders by the All India Institute of Medical Sciences that Puja Khedkar was suspiciously and repeatedly refusing to appear for medical tests to prove her claimed disabilities? Will the entire system now unite to ensure Puja Khedkar goes through this entire crisis unscathed simply because ek jayega to sab jayega? Because Puja Khedkar couldn't have acted alone. There have to have been other facilitators across the entire chain, whether at the UPSC or in AIMS, within the IAS, within the Maharashtra government, within the centre, who knows? Azad, Yashovardhan Azad feels that the Puja Khedkar case will likely evaporate because everyone is looking over each other's shoulders. Everyone has each other's back. Ek jayega to sab jayega. They know this. And it is for this reason that the media spotlight on this story cannot afford to disappear. If there is an honor code within the civil services that will act to protect its own, then Puja Khedkar, even with all her fraudulent acts allegedly, could theoretically get away scot-free. The idea could be to tire out the media, tire out anchors and journalists like me and the public anger, and then quietly bury the file. Viewer, it is my job to ensure that doesn't happen, but believe me, that is going to be difficult. This apparent honor code within the services manifests in several ways. For instance, today an Indian Foreign Service officer, as you can see, responded to a tweet of mine on this particular story, sarcastically saying it was cute that anchors were standing up against lying, which is fine. As an anchor, I'm fully open to attacks on my integrity and my past record, and I'm very happy to engage, and I always do. But this tweet also shows that there's a subliminal sense of possible fraternity within the civil services. Ek jayega to sab jayega. So let's attack the messenger. Those in the services perhaps feel attacked about a story that's literally about deception and misconduct of just one individual. But this story has become much bigger than the IAS had perhaps expected. Those of you tracking our non-stop focus on this story have also seen how this one news break by us has opened the veritable floodgates. Social media and WhatsApp groups are now filled with allegations about more IAS and IPS and IFS officers, which contradicts the theory of an honor code within the services. I would attribute these floodgates opening to even IAS officers seeing the current spotlight on Puja Khedkar as an opportunity to either whistleblow or settle scores or indulge in vendetta games. Again, it is our job in the media to ensure that while substantive allegations are investigated and we dig deeper into the clear rot that exists, honest, upright officers should never face harassment at any level. In the blaze of national anger over corruption, as students feel the heat and feel the fury and frustration over seeing a place for them being taken over by someone who has indulged in such brazen alleged misconduct, the unfairness in the IAS becomes the face of the story. But we must remind ourselves that there are thousands of IAS officers out there who've earned their positions, used appropriate and deserving concessions within the rules, and are dispensing their duties with integrity and talent. It is my belief that this is the overwhelming majority in the IAS and all the other services. The bad apples are the ones we are talking about. This campaign is not about the honest. It's about the bad apples. This is about those who give the honest IAS officers a bad name. It is about those like Puja Khedkar and potentially 400 others like her who've used duplicity and criminal manipulations, allegedly, in order to break into that most elite and sacrosanct of services. And please remember, viewer, this story, this campaign is not personal. Puja Khedkar could literally be any other officer. She happens to be here because she is only the face of the story, and that's because it is she who inadvertently provided us the opportunity with her behavior to shine the light into what goes on inside. And that's precisely what I am doing right now. And I'm very privileged now to be joined by Ira Singhal. Many of you will know her and recognize her. She's a IAS officer from the 2014 batch. She topped the UPSC in 2014. She has been serving for 10 years now as an upright IAS officer across several duties. Ira Singhal is also specially abled, and she came into the spotlight for the incredible dint and hard work of how someone can get to be in this elite service despite all the challenges they face. Ms. Singhal, welcome. Thank you very much for speaking to India today. It's a privilege to get your time. I know, and I'm fully aware of how busy you are. So I first of all want to say I'm grateful for your time today. I wish the topic that we are discussing was a more positive one. But as we know, over the last 1 week, Ms. Singhal, the Puja Khedkar case has, put a cloud over the IAS in general, the selection process in particular. An individual has become sort of larger than life and a face of how things happen. But I wanted to get your opening comments first off on what you think about this entire affair. Puja Khedkar has been, her training has been suspended. She's been summoned back. I'm not asking you to, take an individual take on, a fellow IAS officer, but your general sense of what you've seen play out this week, ma'am.
One, if it's, I do believe that somewhere, some things that we are not aware of, the world lets us know. So that way, it's good that if these kind of things are happening, those of us who are unaware and who are in the system, maybe we get to know and we can take some action. But on the other hand, what has also happened is that a lot of genuine officers have been maligned. And the issue with that is that, people with disabilities actually spend their lives trying to do the things that their disability stops them from. And coming into the services, that's the biggest thing, right? As in part of our training itself, we are made to do all the things that we thought we couldn't do, and we're at least made to try. Yeah. So there are a lot of officers with disabilities who've been trying things outside of their comfort zone, outside of, what their disabilities have allowed them till now. And because of that, or because they were doing their jobs, people have started questioning them as well.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people have gotten maligned on social media without fact checking, without anybody taking genuine opinions. And I think that's where the problem with this whole thing has happened. That everybody is now under a lens of suspicion, unless your disability is as visible as it is in my case. And especially for people with visual and hearing disabilities, it would never be that visible. So that's one bad thing that has happened. But the good thing is, in future, if a lot of people are going to be extremely careful when they do these deceptive things, when they try and take away seats from people who genuinely deserve them. I mean, it's just a very small thing. Yes. The whole idea of this particular reservation is that it is going to a person who's actually suffered on their own. These are people with disabilities have by themselves suffered through their lives, just going to school, getting a degree, even passing a school. I'm currently posted in Arunachal. In a place like this, schools are up to 2 kilometers to 5 kilometers away from your home. So for a person with disability, imagine going to school every day, right? And you are taking away that one platform from those people. I mean, how low can you fall? How low can you fall? And I'll be very honest, I don't actually talk about this ever generally. I get a lot of messages by people saying, "Ma'am, what disabilities will be accepted?" As if they're trying, if this disability is accepted, they will get a certificate according to that. So I end up scolding them and I end up sending them away as to what do you mean, what disabilities will be affected? Are you going to change your disability according to what is affected? And a lot of people, have actually had the audacity to ask me also, how do we get our certificate, up to the 40%? So there is a problem that if you're at 30% or a 35%, you're not eligible. But if you're a 40%, you're eligible. So, people try and game the system and try and go into the medical exam prepared to get a higher percentage. And there are a lot of those. I have gotten a lot of those messages. I hope none of those people have ever cleared. And I end up scolding them and I end up making them feel really ashamed about it. But that is a fact of how people think. It's a very selfish and only I matter sort of thinking that people have without even recognizing that the kind of people that you're trying to hurt,
correct,
they're the ones who are really, really, really affected.
I wanted to actually follow up on that, and I'm glad, Ms. Singhal, that you opened by talking about people, who are being unfairly maligned, and that's what my opening comment on this was as well. All the people who are being named indiscriminately on social media, on India Today, we are very, very careful. We've reached out to many of them. We've got their documents. We are doing our work. We will not be firing indiscriminately because we are responsible. We are taking this as a genuine campaign, and that's why your voice is so important. Speaking about Puja Khedkar in particular, and I know it's representative because Puja Khedkar has become an emotive issue and people feel angry about it. But Ms. Singhal, the every fact about this case is so shocking. In your world, Ms. Singhal, could you imagine not turning up to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences 6 times and counting to, mandatorily prove your disability medically? Can you imagine that happening and getting away with it?
I am extremely scared of things like that, so I would not do that.
No, and the fact that so many of these certificates and documents have turned out to be either falsified or dubious, economically weaker section certificates have also turned out to be dubious, in addition to not turning up to AIIMS. Is that even conceivable for someone like you? I mean, you topped the UPSC, you have special abilities, you are a deserving and upright officer. How does something like this make you feel, ma'am?
We get disappointed, but then we came into the system knowing that we won't be able to change the whole world. We won't be able to fix everything. So let us do whatever we can. And whenever we find something going wrong, let us try to fix that. So I'm glad that if there are wrong things happening, the rest of the world is letting us know, like I said before, that we are getting to know, we are getting that information, we are, able to now take actions if they are deserved. So, but honestly, I'll tell you one more thing, that generally
Yes.
what happens is that what we've seen is that if someone does not appear for the medical test, they keep getting reminders by UPSC,
Yes.
by DOPP, and at the end, they are never confirmed in service unless their medical is confirmed. So I'm not sure, since this is still a probation case, I think the final action would have been taken at the time of confirmation, which is after you complete your probation of 2 years, actually. So your confirmation happens when you pass out of academy. So for after 2 years. So I think
Yes.
the action would have been taken at that point had the medical not been approved till then.
You
So
know,
confirmation does not ever happen without all paperwork being completed, all tests being completed, all formalities, being proved correct.
The
Sorry,
other
my light
aspect of
went.
this, that's okay. We can see you, Miss Singhal. Don't worry about that. The other aspect of this entire case, and I apologize for getting into the particulars, but the reason I'm asking is because the public at large is quite shocked about all of these things. In the Puja Khedkar case, claiming the benefit of a non-creamy layer OBC, economically weaker section concession to get in, but then being found to be from a family that has 40 crore rupees in assets, driving an Audi car. The public is saying, our worst fears and worst beliefs and biases about the bureaucracy stand confirmed in this one person. And my concern is, the public will say, "Arey, ye to IAS hai, sab aise hi hain," and upright, honest officers like you, have to take the hit as well.
Yeah. So let me say one thing, and this is something that people should think about. You know what becomes the news? Something that is out of the ordinary, right?
Yes.
So this case is news. You must realize that this is out of the ordinary. And we keep forgetting that. We keep taking those things that come in news as the reality of the whole world. We extrapolate that and we say that everybody is like that. But you realize news is specifically of things that are out of the normal, right? News is always made by things that don't happen every day, that are special, that have been uniquely done. Which is so if this case is highlighted and there are I don't know, I haven't seen the papers, I don't know the person, I don't know anything about it, I just know what media is saying.
Yes.
So if you must realize that, everybody must realize that if it's in the news, then that means that it's special and this doesn't normally happen. So all the other people that you've maligned, and one of them happens to be my own roommate from academy and actually my closest friend in my batch, who has been maligned so badly. May I take her name and may I correct people on her case?
Absolutely. Absolutely, you can. Please go ahead. Ms. Singhal, can you hear me?
I can't hear.
Yeah. Okay, we're just trying to fix that audio with Ms. Singhal. I think she can't hear me, but yeah. The point made by Ira Singhal, and you couldn't find a more upright and deserving officer than her. Topper in the UPSC in 2014, someone with special abilities who now serves. She's joining me live from the Northeast at this point of time, where she is posted and doing her duties. And she says something very important, viewer. Okay, we've got Ira Singhal back. Ms. Singhal, you were making a point. You wanted to say something about your roommate who's been unfairly maligned. Go ahead.
So Nitika Khandelwal, she happens
Yes.
to be my roommate, and she's a visually challenged candidate. And her name has been maligned everywhere. And because I know her personally and I've lived with her for 2 years while we were doing our probation, I can definitely say she's one of the most amazing officers I have met. She's extremely dedicated, extremely sincere. And the video that they're showing of her was of the time when she got a complaint as an SDM to go check the things that were happening in the RTO office.
Right.
And she went there and she was trying to figure out what is happening. And by the way, this is a person with visual disability, and she has been doing such a fantastic job. She got awarded at national level for her work. And people are taking that small video. And by the way, they know what the video was of. And they've still taken this small clip of that and showing it, saying that she's taking a driving test. She doesn't drive. She's never got a driving license. She might have had as a child, when she just got out of school, because her condition is degenerative. So when she joined the services, from then to now, also her condition has worsened. And she can, I don't want to talk about her disability and, sort of put that out there.
I understand.
You must realize it's a very personal thing for a lot of people. They try every day to act as normal as possible and to fit in as normal as possible. And when you're an officer, you try and do your job as normally as possible.
Absolutely.
And, then when people come up and make you feel ashamed about it, or sort of try and make that into an issue, that, because you're trying to behave normal, we're going to say that, oh my God, you're a fraud.
No, absolutely. Totally unacceptable, and I think we are 100% aligned on that. You will never see that kind of thing happen on India today. Hopefully all of that stuff will be restricted only to social media. Even that is unfair, of course, but I'm just saying that as a responsible channel that actually broke the Puja Khedkar story, we recognize that, harassment and indiscriminate allegations against upright officers is simply... It simply cannot be. It's unconscionable. It should not happen. So I'm glad you spoke about your roommate. One final question, Ira Singhal. I take your point that the Puja Khedkar story is probably the exception. Every organization has bad apples. But for a service like the IAS, which is so elite, Ms. Singhal, 180 officers are inducted every single year, making it perhaps the most difficult, the most sought after civil service in the country, one of the most sought after civil services in the entire world. This does give the public some fears, some anxiety about whether the best people are running the country. How would you address that? This is an opportunity to address that situation. Okay, unfortunately, I think we've lost that video link with Ira Singhal, but I'll leave it there because we're out of time, and hopefully we'll be able to engage with her on a stronger internet link a little later. But very, very grateful to have Ira Singhal take my questions here. Someone like her carries the gravitas and the seriousness with which to address this issue, and that's why we invited her. She was kind enough to join us all the way from the Northeast and be live with us on this story. Now, remember, speaking of Puja Khedkar and how her story has started to raise the heat on other officers, a former IAS officer who quit the service just earlier this year, an actor and a bodybuilder in the spotlight, now being attacked and being accused of dubious means. But he has responded and said that he is being attacked as part of a conspiracy. You may have heard of him. He's got millions of followers on social media. His name is Abhishek Singh, massive following. He now finds himself embroiled in a controversy over his claimed disability certificate. I have personally invited Abhishek Singh to join us on this show, take some of our questions. Remember, on the record, he has said that those attacking him are simply doing so as part of a conspiracy. Take a look.
A former IAS officer an actor and a bodybuilder. But here is why Abhishek Singh, who has a massive 5 million following on social media, is making headlines. It's got to do with this video. This video has garnered a whole lot of attention. Why? Because amid the IAS Puja fraud case, it comes to light that Abhishek too in his UPSC had a disability certificate, and much like Puja, had a certificate saying he had a locomotor disability. And now his workout video has led to netizens asking, does this look like a disabled person? The actor and influencer has now clarified with a detailed post on social media where he's cried foul and claimed there is a conspiracy against him. Abhishek has claimed he's being targeted by an army of anti-reservationists, as he calls it. He's also claimed he's being targeted for raising his voice for reservation, and critics of the same are tarnishing his image. So while he rambles on and on about being targeted, not once has Abhishek actually clarified on whether he's disabled or not. Abhishek Singh, who is awaiting the release of his maiden film, isn't new to controversy. He was suspended in 2023 by the UP government for going on leave without a sanction, an unpardonable offence for IAS officers. Just months before that, in 2022, Abhishek was fired from his post of General Observer during the Gujarat Assembly election because he was seen posing with his official vehicle for some social media likes. Again, a big no-no for such senior officers. Amid the serious allegations of fraud and forgery against IAS Puja, Abhishek Singh is now under the scanner over his disability claim in his UPSC application. This, however, raises a larger question. Have many UPSC applicants faked disability certificates and forged documents to become so-called officers of repute? Bureau Report, India Today.
And this is once again to say that we've invited Abhishek Singh because he's very, very prominent and just quit the IAS to come on India Today, have his say because he's being attacked a great deal on social media. It's only fair that he comes up and gives his response and his version of things. This is the first part of 5 Live, coming up after this very short break. The big war while we switch focus to the Siddaramaiah government in Karnataka that's dropped a quota bombshell. Reservation in private jobs have been cleared by the Siddaramaiah government. Will it actually go through? We'll tell you next.
Today Media Institute believes in training students in independent and critical thinking so they can better analyze the world around them. The training at the ITMI is rigorous and multimedia with an aim to provide top-notch media professionals.
Register now at www.indiatodaymediainstitute.in or call on 95600 65465.
Karnataka Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has dusted a pet project off the shelf. A proposal and a bill to reserve between 50 and 100% in private sector jobs for Kannada speakers in Karnataka. It's something that the Congress has proposed many times before, including by Siddaramaiah himself, but now he's brought it into the headlines. The only problem is, does he really plan to push this through? Can it be pushed through, or is this timed to take attention away from the cloud of scams that have assembled around the Sidhu Sarkara? Whether it is the Valmiki board scam, the Muda scam, which allegedly has family members of the chief minister who are under scrutiny as well. All of these beg the question, is this really about Kannada pride? Is this really about Siddaramaiah putting to the fore something that he's always wanted to do? Or is this a tactical, strategic move by the Siddaramaiah government in Karnataka in order to take attention away from this cloud of scams that have gathered around him?
Facing heat over multiple scams, the Karnataka government, led by Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, seems to have played the Kannadiga card, planning to bring in a bill to set aside a lion's share of government and private jobs for Kannadigas alone. The bill mandates a 50% reservation in management jobs and a mammoth 75% in non-management jobs only for local Kannadiga candidates. Initially, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah announcing a sweeping 100% reservation for Kannadigas in all blue-collar jobs. But he quickly retracted the move after Labour Minister Santosh Lad clarified that no specific quotas exist for these job categories.
And most of the politicians, wherever we go, we have been always pressurized that we need jobs, we need jobs, we need jobs. I don't say that they're not giving. So if there's a mandatory something like this, so it becomes foremost and important to see to that local gets an opportunity. And in case if the local talent is not available, they can opt to get for anybody else. So why they are so hesitant to seeing that by this draconian law will kill the industry, I think this is hard.
But the move is facing flack not only from the opponents, but from Congress allies and Congress netas too.
A reservation is required for local people, no doubt about that. Wherever possible, they should give the reservation. Technically, we can't enforce on any organization to take them if they are not technically qualified for that.
Every next day they come out with these kind of dramatic bills, just want to cover up all the scandal, whatever scandals, whatever the loot, whatever the allegations they have been facing, they just want to cover up with all these kind of dramas.
It's highly retrograde, reactionary and regressive. See, one state or one city is not made by those people who are born there or in domicile.
Prominent industrialist and software body like NASSCOM also raised concerns, stressing the need for skilled talent in Tech Hub and the possible impact on brand Bengaluru.
The bill says a local is defined as a person who is born in Karnataka, who has spent 15 years here and who knows Kannada. And he has to pass a test. And if you don't have Kannada as a language in a school leaving certificate, then you have to take a test by a nodal agency.
Yeah. Even Bengalurians are divided. While some call it a discriminatory, regressive and unconstitutional, others back the move.
It is not good for other states, so it is better to decrease the percentage of the Kannada working. More than Kannada here, outside peoples are working here more than Karnataka peoples.
I think people should give some importance for the localites. And of course, for technical jobs, it is whatever they score, whatever they get is important.
Meanwhile, Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar defended the bill as a fair and necessary step.
ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡತಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಹಾಗೆ ನಮ್ಮ ರಾಜ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲಿ ಉದ್ಯೋಗಗಳನ್ನ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಮುಂದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಕೂಡ ಕಡ್ಡಾಯವಾಗಿ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ಇರಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದು ನಮ್ಮ ಆಸೆ. ಆ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗೆ ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ಇಷ್ಟು ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ತೀರ್ಮಾನವನ್ನು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮಾಡಿದೆ.
To benefit from the reservation, locals must be proficient in Kannada and needs to be born in the state or a resident for at least 15 years. A similar local quota push in Haryana and Andhra, however, failed to pass legal scrutiny. Will the Siddha government law face similar fate? With Nagarjun Dwarkanath in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
And joining me live to talk about this a little bit more, joining us from Bengaluru is N.A. Harris. He's a well-known MLA of the ruling Congress party. Also with us is Somdata Singh. She's founder and CEO of Asidus and has also been a member of the NASSCOM in the past. The NASSCOM, as you know, is the industry body that represents the IT and services sector. Ms. Singh, Mr. Harris, thank you very much for joining me. Mr. Harris, I'd like to quickly come to you first. You know, you're one of the lone voices within the Congress who've actually expressed some reservations about this quota promise in the private sector. Tell us why you oppose it, sir.
No, I don't oppose. Why did I oppose this one? See, it is not opposed. I said, see, local Kannadigas have to get the reservation. There's nothing wrong in that. See, it was that if there is any skill or any prerequisite qualification needed, maybe that could be taken up like however it would come, like whoever are fit into it. But in administration section and other areas, why? What is wrong in giving to the local people? What is wrong in it? If you ask, and if the government's duty to protect the local people, no. So we have to give them job opportunity. Unemployment is its highest, and we have to take care of the youngsters, give them job opportunity. Government is trying to create job and also give opportunities for the local people. What is wrong in that?
Sir, but 50% in management, 70% in non-management, 100% in C and D grade. I mean, these are extremely high quotas, sir. I mean,
sorry,
Bengaluru and Karnataka has always been known to be competitive, sir. Competitive industry.
There is some correction to that. See, that is not 100%, 50%. And no, and see, now any companies coming up, they need people to work. Whether it is Kannadigas or anybody else, what are they going to lose out of it?
No, but how is this tenable, sir? We live in a country where anybody can work anywhere. If you have reservations in each state, how does that happen?
We are not denying it now. Everybody throughout the country, anybody can do. We as Kannadigas, as Karnataka government is protecting our local people. What's wrong in that? Please tell me.
Sir, I am also from Karnataka, but I am still asking this question. There is a large population.
You understand that. See, we are
large population. Mr. Harris, there's a large population. Come on, sir, you know this. You know this. You of all people understand this better than most people. Bengaluru, the IT sector is cosmopolitan. It has had a workforce from across the country. It always takes the best person for the job. What is this about Kannadigas then?
No, technically, see, we will also give that best person as Kannadigas to you all.
They have that option now also, sir.
Local people. What is wrong if you are getting people there and you are taking them? What's wrong in that?
But sir, how is that discriminatory against Kannadiga people? Kannadiga people have the same rights to apply for these jobs and get these jobs, sir. If they are better, they will get the jobs.
They are not getting. That is why the government has to come in between and to tell. And what is wrong if the government says this one? Why are you trying to tell, oh, we are trying to do something else, that this and all? It is a very straightforward.
Sir, private sector in general is nervous about quotas.
This one in this.
Let me bring Somdata Singh in on this. Ms. Singh, what do you think? N.A. Harris says there's nothing wrong in this. This doesn't discriminate against anyone. You've been part of the NASSCOM. You've been in the private sector in Bengaluru. Is this a good move?
With all due respect to N.A. Harris, sir, and like you said you're from Karnataka. I have grown up in Karnataka. This is my third company out of Karnataka, and the fact that I contribute to Karnataka's state taxes itself shows the loyalty towards Karnataka. Nanu tumba chanaga kannada matartini, so it doesn't make me non-eligible for something, right? I run a company which has 300 plus people, both blue collared for my warehouses and white collared for all the senior levels. We do not hire people based on the language that they speak, right? I have gone to school here, I've studied here, but I am, if from the quote unquote Kannadiga perspective, we don't get a separate passport to be a Kannadiga. I was born in Bengal. So now imagine a Kannadiga guy going and looking for a job in Bengal. Bengali starts saying, no, we are going to only give opportunity to Bengalis, even if they're not skilled enough to do the job, just because we feel this is the right thing to do. There is something called as constitutional and non-constitutional. One, it directly violates the right to equality. I would want a Kannadiga brother and sister to get a job anywhere in India based on where they believe they have a better opportunity, better life, better salary. Just like I don't want it to happen to a Kannadiga, I don't want a non-Kannadiga to miss out on an opportunity just because the privilege is given to somebody who speaks the language. Or is so-called a Kannadiga. What is the definition of a Kannadiga? You're born here, you are 20 years here, you're 30 years here, your parents have land here. I have a lot of assets in Karnataka, therefore I'm a Kannadiga. Now there is not going to be a bias based on where you're born and where you're not born. Imagine Kannadiga people's children who are getting born outside of Karnataka, somewhere in US, and we do human cry. Oh, when US is talking, they are discriminatory, they're biased, they're racial. It's always, when you point
Mr. Harris, I want to bring Mr. Harris back. Mr. Harris, it's not just in TV debates. You have some of the biggest industry stalwarts who have the biggest industries in Bengaluru who are all almost unanimously saying that this is a bad idea. You can't have reservation in private sector jobs at any level.
No, see, now it is their opinion. We as a government, we have our duty. We are trying to protect our people. And I think constitutionally it is not wrong. See, we are not depriving or we are not talking about anybody else. We are just telling a reservation for the local people. What's wrong in that? I don't think an argument is needed for this. Now, if
it's not an argument, sir.
Any company is finding it difficult or any company needs any kind of an adjustment, or they are not finding the local people fit enough to do their job, maybe they can approach the government for that.
Can I come in here and share something?
Yes.
I think, Harris sir, with all due respect, I don't think people differentiate Kannadigas with non-Kannadigas at all. Indeed, I'm very proud that Karnataka is one of those states which is receptive towards every individual, is why it has such high corporate development. And when people come and invest in this region, the reason they do it is because of the non-bias, right? Now you imagine that if you say only Kannadigas, all the foreign investors that are actually investing in the region will all pull out, who are non-Kannadigas. They'll all start. You'll provoke a big upsurge of pull out and economic disparity, which will make it even harder for the government to justify. What I rather suggest, yes, there should be a skill-based opportunity, equal opportunity based on equity, performance and skills given to everyone. There is already quotas in the government that protects the locals, and 100% it should, because there has to be some way to kind of, privilege to the people in the region. But demarcation based on just if they speak the language without having proper heritage in terms of saying whether they're Kannadigas, non-Kannadigas, there's no way to demarcate it.
Yes,
go ahead.
I just want one of the points that Ms. Singh raised, Mr. Harrison, I'll ask you this, is that Bengaluru is famous for its industry, at the Silicon hub of India, etc. Aren't you nervous, sir? I take your point that the local workforce should also be protected. I take your point, but doesn't it endanger Karnataka in losing industry, future industry and investment to other places like Telangana and Andhra and Tamil Nadu, where you are already fighting a big fight, sir?
Can I just come in? See,
yes, please.
Now Karnataka prospered in all this business and all these things because we gave good people for their job. And that is why all Silicon Valley and everything, whatever is happening in Bangalore,
Correct.
even today, tomorrow, day
But
after
this would
tomorrow.
spoil that, sir.
See, now, no, I don't think this would have anything in this one. We have been a little specific about asking them that you should provide local people. And it's, see, and it's a government duty. We also have to look at that how, see, and also that will help those companies also. They are getting a local guys that will help them.
But
See,
that
now
they
we are
have
not
access
taking-
to
we are not
even now, sir.
restricting-
Mr. Harris, you are acting like these companies.
Not taking anybody else.
Mr. Harris,
we
you
are
are
not restricting
acting.
them. We are not taking anybody else.
But Mr. Harris, that is a little disingenuous. You are acting like the companies don't have access to this work, this workforce now. They have access to it, sir.
Can I give some facts?
Now,
Let me-
see,
let me
wherever
quote
there
some
are
Coming to you,
numbers.
Mr. Singh. Let him just finish.
Yeah,
no,
let me-
wherever there are people already working, we are happy about it. We have told, okay, wherever there is no Kannadigas are there, please provide them. That is what's wrong
Sir,
in
but
that.
how do Miss Singh, you can come in here, and I want you to take a specific question. See, because this is not us making noise about it. We are only asking the questions. I myself am from Karnataka, but I'm wondering, since you've been in NASSCOM and you currently head a large company, Miss Singh, I want to ask you, will this not make companies think twice about being in Karnataka? The fact that they have imposed quota or reservation?
Indeed, let me give you some facts. What Mr. Harris is talking about is the fact that, the industries came and set up their companies here because they were providing skilled people who are Kannadigas. That fact is absolutely a misnomer information. Bangalore has the largest representation of private institutions for engineering and other technical education, which attracts 70% plus non-local students from across India to come and study here. So because of that accessibility of talent, the subsidies, the weather condition, etc., overlooking infrastructure, companies started coming and setting up here. Most of the investors that are here, including the founders, the largest founder ecosystem, are non-Kannadigas. What will happen if such a rule gets implemented or a bill gets passed? All that Hyderabad and other regions, specifically Mumbai, etc., are now trying their best to attract this whole investment back into the region. Everybody will move out. Let's not forget, Amazon and Microsoft did that already, right? They set up their big arms outside in Hyderabad because of all the facilitation giving. There are a few factual things, and I only talk on facts, right? And I was a vice chair of NASSCOM's industry body many years back. The focus is India as a subcontinent by itself is an integration of many cultures, many languages, and many ethos. The fact that makes us so unique is the constitutional liberty to move, seek, and to learn and get jobs anywhere, right? So we do not see ourselves abided by a language-specific region, culture, job, skill set, mindset. The idea is wherever there is an opportunity, go there, flourish there, do well. That is what our focus should be.
Madam, can I just come in?
Yes, respond.
People will move out.
No. I do agree with you that as Indians, we have all the right to be all around the country and prosper, go work and do things. There is no doubt about that at all. We also are of the same opinion. Here, it is just that government is trying to support the local people to also get job opportunities here in Bangalore itself. They may otherwise have to go to Bombay, or they may have to go to Hyderabad, or they may have to go somewhere else. So those opportunities we are trying to make our people get it here. That's it. There is nothing, no competition between anybody.
They're already getting those opportunities. If you take a look at it, even in my company,
that's what I'm saying.
30% workforce are Kannadigas, right? It is not that
very good. We welcome that, and it's a very good one.
If you define Kannadiga, like I said, I went from the time I was 16 years old, I've been in this region. All the companies I've started has had even when I was in US, I've started a company here. You know why? Because this is so much liberal and accepting and allow you
that atmosphere will not spoil here at all. It will not spoil. That same atmosphere will continue.
So think about it. If there is a 50% force on me to hire people who are Kannadiga who may not even match the skill. So the first thing
I'm out of time. I'm out of time. This was a very substantive discussion. But Mr. Harris, one final question, 10-second answer, sir. Is this proposal going to be pushed through as is, or will the government be willing to speak to industry, Kiran Majumdar-Shaw and others, Infosys and others, and maybe tweak it a little bit? Or is this going to be final?
They're all part of the government. They're all part of the government. 100% it will be discussed, and we'll take them into confidence and do whatever has to be done.
Okay. N.A. Harris, Somdata Singh, always a pleasure. Substantive discussion on this issue, open, frank exchange of views. Always welcome here on India Today and 5 Live. Thanks to both of you for taking your time and being here with us on the show. We've got some breaking news coming in now. "16 days after the Hathras stampede at Bhole Baba's satsang in Uttar Pradesh, the absconding Bhole Baba has finally resurfaced. 16 days after the stampede in which 123 devotees were killed in a killer stampede after his satsang, Bhole Baba, who had disappeared after that, has finally resurfaced. He's not really absconding, remember, because he's not even named in the FIR. Nobody's actually hunting for him, but Bhole Baba and his lawyer were seen visiting his Kasganj ashram. Why no action against Bhole Baba yet is an unanswered question. Why isn't the Yogi Adityanath government going after Bhole Baba, who has been out of action, off camera, out of view for 16 full days, and finally we've got sight of him at his Kasganj ashram? What does it say about a commitment to justice for 123 people? We will continue to ask that question. And we're leaving you with these images of amidst somber skies and heavy hearts. India has bid farewell to its valiant bravehearts of Doda. The mortal remains of 4 bravehearts who made the ultimate sacrifice in Jammu a couple of days ago have returned to their hometowns in West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh and Rajasthan. A journey of honor and remembrance. We pay tribute. We thank them for their service, and we pray for strength to their families and their units to move on.
But whatever it is, it's a very proud moment for us.